Okay, call it a crash course. We're going to be looking at what, fractions now. And fractions can come in different shades. Fractions can come in different shades. Some of the questions we'll be treating would want to move around what we may call conversions. Converting minutes to hours, converting hours to minutes, and things like that. So remember that the whole objective is to try to either convert directly to fraction or use the idea in fraction. So we're going to take a few of the examples and see how that plays out. Now, what happens when we convert to meters? So I'm going to take a conversion to meters, or to what? Centimeter, to cm. Conversion to cm. And I'll just take an example there. Let's call this okay, let's say number, that's a Roman figure 1. What would a quarter of 1 meter be? This is a question testing fraction. What would be a quarter of 1 meter? Now remember that 1 meter, 1 m is equal to 100 what? Centimeters. So if I'm going to convert to centimeters, I'll simply say what? If 1 meter is 100 cm. Now, 1/4 of a meter will simply be share this into 4 parts. So 100 divided by 4 means shared into what? 4 parts. And if you do that correctly, that will be 4 here, 1, 4 into 10, 2, a carry of 2, 4 into 20, that will be 5. So that will be 25 centimeters. So conversion of meters, conversion to cm. So watch the way fraction is being used in this context rather. 1/4 of 1 meter means what? 1/4. Convert to cm first and then divide by 4. All right, so that's the technique there. And I'll trust that you go back to this textbook, look at, I really want to employ, if you can get the textbook either from a friend, try to solve the questions. They really, really make you feel very comfortable. So that's conversion of what? Meters to cm. All right, so now that's for number 1. Now let's take the next idea. The next idea talks about what? Conversion to what? Conversion to minutes. Now, in this context, we are converting from hour to minutes. So let's take question. Let's take a Roman figure 1 there. We look at, let's say, 2/3 of 2/3 hour, or 2/3 of an hour. How do we solve this? The first thing we must remember is that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So that will mean that 2/3 of 1 hour will simply be what? What is 1 hour? 60 minutes. Multiply 2/3 by what? 60 minutes. Multiply 2/3 by what? 60 minutes. So here we can cancel out. And if you remember your primary school, we usually tell you to say 60/1. The reason why we're saying you should put 60/1 is to remember that the only reason 60 is existing is because it is standing on the understanding of 1. If it stands under 2, or if it stands on top of 2, it will be a problem. It will no longer be 60, it becomes what? 30, because 60 divided by 2 is what? 30. Right. Now, with that said, we can now cancel out 3 go here 1, 3 into 6, 2, and becomes 20. 2 times 20 will be equal to what? 40 minutes. So you see that we have converted to minutes. All right, the next idea will test conversion to seconds. Pardon me, I'm doing fast videos because I will trust that you go back on your own to solve more examples to get clarity on this concept. All right, so I'll just take an example there. Let's say we have seconds, we have 1/15 of 2 minutes. The first thing you need to remember is that 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. So to do this, you need to know your conversions very well. So 1/15 of, more often than not, of in maths we usually suggest times. 1/15 of something. That is, look at that portion, get 1/15 of it, or 15th of it. Now, this will now be what? So 1/15 of 2 minutes will be what? What is 2 minutes? It is what? 60 times 2. So I'll start by saying what? 60 times 2 first, times what? 1/15. That's 1/15. So what do? I cancel out. When you cancel out, try as much as, except you're very good at what you're doing, try to cancel out using primes. If it's not an even number, I can try what you see first. I'm seeing 5, so I'll use 5. There's no rule that says you must use a particular number to divide. No, it's what you see first you use to divide. Especially when it comes to problems like this. So 5 go here 3, 5 go here 2, and that'll be 20. So 30 rather. Sorry, what am I doing? 5 go here will give me 1. 5 into 10 will give me 12. 5 into 6 will mean that I can only get 5 once, and I'll be left with 1. That's why you say 1 remainder 1. That remainder 1 you have gotten here is actually a 10 that is coming to this other digit. So it becomes what? 10 divided by that 5, and that will be what? 10 divided by 5 will be 2. So that will be 12. 12, 3 can still go here 1. 3 divided 12 will be what? 4. Because by reading your multiple, so 4 times 2 will give me what? 8. So that will be 8 seconds. 8 seconds becomes the answer. So we come to conversion to grams. So conversion to grams. That should be D if I'm right. We've done 1, 2, 3. So that will be D. Now I'll take an example. There. Let's say you have 69 over 1,000 of 2 kg. How do you handle this? Quite simple again. This will be what? How do you handle this? Quite simple again. So this will be what? 1 kg is equal to 1,000 grams. Please take note of the reason why I'm doing this. You need to know these conversions. If not, you may be stuck. That's why we're doing this. You need to remember. The objective of this class is to remember these conversions. All right. So with this sorted out, the next thing we expect you to do will be this. We simply now say what? 69 over 1,000 of 2 kg. How is that done? This will be simply what? 69 over 1,000 times 2. Remember that we had 1 kg giving us what? 1,000 grams. Maybe we should do something else. So what will 2 kg be? 2 kg will simply be what? 2 times what? 100 grams. And that will be what? 2,000 grams. Is that clear? Now with that sorted, I would now say 69 over 1,000, or 69, or we can call it 69,000. 69,000. That of 2 kg would imply 69 over 1,000 times 2,000 over 1. So these zeros will cancel out. I'm going to have 69 times 2. Now just come to a part of my board and just say 69 times 2. And that will give me 8. A carry of 1, 6 times 2 will give me 12. Plus 1, that's 138. So that will be 138 grams. That will be 138 grams. So that's what that answer is going to be. So you can see that we can actually use fractions to teach conversions. We can use fractions to teach what? Conversions. And the objective is to try to see how you apply the ideas, right? So let's go to millimeters. So find 1/4 of 6 centimeters in what? Millimeters. That's the short-term form to writing millimeters. So we want the answer in millimeters. So what do? We start by saying 1 cm is equal to what? 10 millimeters. You need to remember that. 1 cm is equal to what? 10 millimeters. Now, the next thing we'll do, so 6 cm will now be equal to what? What will 6 cm be equal to? To be equal to what? 6 times 10. And that will give me what? 60 millimeters. That will be what? 60 millimeters. Okay. Now, so find 1/4 or 1/4 of 6 cm. That will mean that what? 1/4 of 6 cm will be equal to what? 1/4. What is 6 cm or 6 centimeters? It is what? 60 millimeters. So times 60/1. Now, you see another aspect of your brain is being tested now. Division. So what do? I can divide with 4. I want you to be bold to divide with 4. Divide with 4, be 1. Divide with into. So 4 divides 6 will give me 1. 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 is above 4, so I have a 2 left. 6 minus 4 gives me 2. And then I'm going to bring that 2 here. So 4 divide 20. I read my 4 times. 4 times 1 times 2, 8, 12, 16. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. So that will be 5. So my final answer becomes 15 millimeters. I trust you're enjoying the class because that's the objective. We want to see how we can stretch you. Now, there's also something very interesting. Now, I'm going to go to F. I'm going to go to F. And I'm going to do conversion from meters to millimeters. And this is what students sometimes find very difficult to cope with. Conversion of millimeters and meters to millimeters. Now, let's take a practical question. We have a practical question here that says 1/9 of 4.5 meters. To what? Millimeters. So we want to convert that to millimeters. So let's see what we ought to do. We'll take it the way we've been doing it, step by step. And what do? You have that, you start by saying 1 meter is equal to what? 100 centimeters. We know that already. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Now, there's no direct connection between meter to millimeter. You need to create it. We also know that 1 cm is equal to what? 10 millimeters. So how do I move from here to here? If I'm going to go to here, I will come here first. And then before I will now try to do what? Come here. So now look at it. If 1 cm is 10 millimeters, how many millimeters will there be in 100 centimeters? It will be what? 10 times this. If 1 cm is 10, 1 centimeter is 10, 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. How many millimeters will there be in 100 centimeters? It only means that I have 100 of 10 millimeters in 1 meter. 100 of 10 millimeters in 1 meter. So 1 meter will simply be what? 100 times what? 10. and that will be what? 1,000 millimeters. So that will be 1,000 millimeters. So how do we now solve that? So 1/4, 1/9 of 4.5 meters will be equal to what? 1/9 times 4.5. Then this meter will now be what? 100 times 1,000 rather, times 1,000. So how do you cancel that? Remember that this is 4.5. For some students, it might be difficult for you to handle. So what do? I'll take 1 from here. And if I take 1 from here, now when you're multiplying and you're dividing, when you take, it means you have moved decimal places. Come again. If you are performing multiplication and division, when you take, it means if you take from here, you have moved decimal place to the right because we want to remove the decimal. When we come under decimals, you see that also we want to remove the decimal. So that will be 1/9 times 45 times 100. Maybe I should take a step back. Some learners might find it a little difficult to catch what I've done. Now, let me show you what I've done. Now, I can write this to be what? 1/9 times 4.5 times 10 times 100. Remember that we can write 1,000 as 10 times what? So what happens? This 10 here would help this decimal place to move forward because 4.5 times 10 becomes what? 45. So that will be 1/9 times 45 times 100. So what's the next thing we do? I divide 45 with 9. That will give me 5. And that will be what? 500 watts millimeters. So in converting from meters to millimeters, we have seen what we need to do. We need to convert the meters given to us to centimeters. And after that, we convert to what? Millimeters. And there's a connection. The road you need to take is to know that 1 meter is equivalent to 10 watts. We've got what? 10 times 100. So 1 meter is equal to 100 millimeters. So that takes care of that problem.